Alright, and here on our news, it says Ripple just made its biggest move of 2026 while everyone watches the XRP price chart. And that's coming from our favorite source, Times Tabloid. Alright, while you are staring at the charts, refreshing the price every 5 seconds and stressing over green and red candles, Ripple just quietly finalized a deal that might actually dictate the next 10 years of global finance. Ripple didn't just write a check. They basically built a highway straight into the heart of the fastest growing economic landscape on earth. Most retail investors are completely missing this because it isn't showing up as a massive green candle today. But the big money is paying attention. Crypto analyst right here, Dark Defender, pointed out on X that the market hasn't even begun to process what is actually happening right now. We are talking about Ripple taking a massive equity stake in Flutterwave, which is the African payment giant valued at $3.2 billion. This isn't a test run. It isn't a concept note. It is live commercial stablecoin settlement using the XRP Ledger and Ripple payments across an entire continent. So in this video, we are breaking down why the single investment changes the fundamental gravity of XRP and what it means for the global supply of digital money. So let's get into the actual facts. Alright, so why is Flutterwave the key to unlocking Africa's money channels? To understand why this is a massive deal, you have to look at the math behind moving money across borders. Africa currently has some of the highest, most frustrating cross-border payment fees on the planet. It's like trying to send a package through a muddy road with 10 different toll booths. Right? This is where Flutterwave comes in. They have built one of the most advanced payment networks on the continent. By Ripple taking an equity stake in their Series E round, they didn't just become a quiet investor sitting in the back of the room. They become the actual plumbing. The XRP Ledger is now handling the clearing, the RLUSD stablecoin is handling the settlement, and Flutterwave is distributing the money across its massive pre-existing network. So, this is my opinion. This is exactly what real, tangible utility looks like. For years, skeptics said crypto was just a playground for tech nerds or day traders. But when you apply it to a real-world problem like African remittance fees, it becomes a necessity. It is like replacing a slow dial-up internet connection with a lightning-fast fiber optic cable for a whole continent. This isn't speculation. It's a real business solution solving a multi-billion-dollar headache. Right? Now, the next question is, how does a $1.6 billion stablecoin supply move through these new rails? Alright, let's talk about the tool being used here, which is the RLUSD. This stablecoin currently has a massive $1.6 billion supply, and it is the central pillar of this entire operation. Ripple's managing director from the Middle East and Africa, Reese Merrick, explicitly stated that its stablecoins are becoming central to how their infrastructure evolves. Think about how a massive electrical grid works. You need a stable voltage running through the lines so the power doesn't drop out. That's what RLUSD does for high volume corridors. Instead of a merchant waiting days for traditional bank transfers to clear across international borders, they are settling commercially right now. Flutterwave has already confirmed that this infrastructure is active with select merchants. Now, my take on this all about the velocity of money, as when a stablecoin like RLUSD is embedded directly into a $3.2 billion payment giant, the transaction volume doesn't just grow. It scales dynamically. People are waiting for retail buyers to push the market up but the real floor is built when millions of dollars in commerce flow through the XRP ledger every single day just to keep business running. It is a completely different level of demand. Now, why is Ripple's double-sided investment structure a genius move? The way Ripple structured this deal is incredibly smart from a corporate standpoint. They didn't just sell technology to Flutterwave as a vendor. They took an equity position in the company's Series E funding round. This means Ripple benefits on two completely different fronts. First, they benefit from the actual valuation growth of Flutterwave as a financial institution. Second, they profit directly from the sheer volume of transactions moving across the XRP ledger. The more money Flutterwave processes using Ripple's technology, the more value flows back into the Ripple ecosystem on both sides of the ledger. So, this is my opinion about that. This is a checklist move in chess. Ripple is ensuring that their corporate survival and the utility of the ledger are perfectly aligned with the biggest financial networks in the region. They aren't just begging companies to use their network. They are buying their way into the foundation of the financial system. It makes the technology irreplaceable. Right? Now, our next question right here is that, is Dubai becoming the real command center for the next bull run? You cannot separate the Flutterwave deal from Ripple's broader regional strategy. They recently opened their official regional headquarters at the Dubai International Financial Center, or DIFC. Dubai has quickly become one of the most progressive crypto-friendly regulatory hubs in the world. By putting their flag firmly in the ground there, Ripple is connecting the capital and regulatory safety of the Middle East directly with the high-demand remittance markets of Africa. It's a direct financial corridor that bypasses traditional Western banking friction entirely. So I think moving the operational focus to Dubai is a brilliant defensive and offensive move. While regulators in other parts of the world are still trying to figure out what a blockchain is, Dubai is providing clear rules. This gives institutional partners the confidence to plug into the XRP ledger without worrying about sudden legal changes. It's about building a fortress where business can actually get done. Now, what happens when the global market finally realizes fiction is over? As Dark Defender pointed out here on X, the most critical takeaway here is that the global use cases we've been waiting for are no longer theoretical or confined to white papers. They are live on the ground, processing commercial settlements for real merchants. We are watching a complete transition. The market is slowly realizing that the value of an ecosystem isn't determined by social media hype or viral memes, but by infrastructure. As the XRP ledger extends its corridors to more regions, the network effects becomes impossible to ignore. So my final thoughts on this comes down to patience versus panic. The retail markets gets panicky when the chart goes sideways for a few weeks. But when you look at what Ripple is building this 2026, they are locking down the literal rails of global money movement. When the dam finally breaks and the market catches up to the reality of this infrastructure, the shift will likely be sudden and massive. Alright, as an overall conclusion, Ripple's equity investment in Flutterwave is easily their most strategic move of this year 2026 so far. By embedding the XRP Ledger, Ripple Payments, and RLUSD into a $3.2 billion network, they shifted from a technology provider to a core pillar of the African financial ecosystem. While short-term traders stay glued to the daily price charts, the structural reality is that the network is capturing massive real-world transaction volume in the regions that need it most. With a secure regulatory base in Dubai and live commercial settlements already running through select merchants, the foundation for the next phase of global adoption is officially set in stone. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one. Or you might just as well watch next this recommended video right here.